Hello, this is a video I'm going to make more along the lines of a concept video. It's not fully meant or intended to be a real thought out video, so if you don't like it, remember I didn't put much time in it, but it's basically along the lines of this, and this is what this video is going to be. I was watching Michael Jackson documentaries. That's a hobby of mine. I have a lot of strange interests, and Michael Jackson, his life, more so than his music, is one of those interests. And to me, here is a guy who was a fascinating person on every level. If you've ever tried to do the moonwalk, that alone is fucking fascinating. And here's a fucking guy, and it really hit me like a ton of bricks that he could never get over in modern day society. And when I say get over, that's kind of like wrestling speak, for meaning he could never break through in a big way. He could never become a major or mainstream musician. He could never become a major musician or mainstream artist in society. Here's a guy who he defied race, he defied gender, he defied age. Even age was it. Here's a man 50 years old who often defied what it meant to be an adult. Here's a guy watching children's movies and had a fucking carnival in his backyard, and he didn't give a damn. And he defied what it meant to be human. He was the ultimate individual, and he did what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it. He can never get over now. He can never do that in the modern society. They would say no, they would either not sign him, or they say no, you have to define yourself. Either you know, cut your hair, wipe off the makeup, wear a suit, be up and proper, call yourself a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew or some mainstream religion, define yourself, and saying what we want you to sing, and spend your entire lives meeting our standards, bowing to our demands, kissing our asses and the asses of all these maggots out there in the public who would try to hamper your life, your enjoyment of your life, or your way of existence, and make you more like them. He can never get over now is who he was. He can never be the Michael Jackson that he was and be a major success. John F. Kennedy was a drunk, and he was a major whoremonger. And he fucked women like you assholes eat sandwiches, I'm sure. And if he could never do that now. He could never be president and do that. Yet the thing is, he was a wonderful president, and he was one of the best presidents we ever had, and he actually ran the country halfway decent. I mean, there's a lot of things about pre-60s America pre-60s America was shit, but it wasn't his fault. Economics was unfair. We were capitalists. You had the beginnings of a military-industrial complex because of the asshole in there before him, I believe. But he himself, the president, he was very good. Now, if you fast forward to modern day, and you look at fucking Obama, that motherfucker can never, if he fucked one woman besides his wife, if he snorted one line of cocaine in the White House, in the Oval Office, especially if he snorted one line of cocaine off another woman's ass in the White House, he'd be kicked out the next day. He'd be impeached. Yet at the same time, we allowed this same man, to send drones overseas and mass murder children and kill people, and no one gives a fuck. The founding fathers, they were drunks. They did drugs. They used what's called pharmakia, basically hallucinogenic drugs. They had sex with lots of women. Some of them were bisexual. They had wild parties. They met in abandoned monasteries and were in cathedrals to engage in black masses. These were some interesting guys. They were pretty hip and cool for their time. While I may not actually support them, I take more of the loyalist position. I actually support the king in some ways, based on different things I don't feel like going into. They were interesting people, and our society would never accept them today. We would never tolerate those people. We wouldn't have George Washington as a president. We'd throw them in asylums. And we'd never have electricity. We never have America. We never signed the Constitution. We never have electricity. We never signed the Constitution. We would have fucked up big time. But our society, you've created a repressive society that because you kiss ass and because you don't never do what you want to do or become what you want to be, you force that off on people like me and everyone else. So to the point where we can never have a Michael Jackson. We can never have him. This guy lived in a fucking he lived with a carnival behind his house. He looked like a chick. He did what he wanted to do. Here's a fucking guy who, he didn't want to be a guy necessarily, but he didn't want to be one. He didn't do like a lot of transgender people and they become women just to suit the interests of other people. He just wore makeup. He just had long hair. He'd wear suits. He had like that John Bonnie and Clyde hat, go to hell hat. He loved wearing it. He did what he wanted to do. And he didn't give a fuck what any of you think. Again, a 50-year-old man watching, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs or Wizard of Oz, and people are like, well, that's weird. And he's like, fuck you. He doesn't care. You said he's weird. He got weirder. And that's what we need to be now. We don't need more normal people. We need some weird people. Al Sharpton, that motherfucker said he wasn't weird. Bullshit. He was weird as fuck. And what's wrong with that? Let him be weird. We have enough normal people. We need some more weird people. We don't need any more Justin Bieber. We don't need another Justin Bieber. We need another Michael Jackson. And that's it. Peace 666.